Oh, thanks, yeah. It's Colin here, bloody again here. I'm following on this video from yesterday on for bloody Virginia and Prince Andrew. So I put my video on yesterday, and so far there's just on 300 have watched it, and there's probably been more, 295 I think it is. Up at this point, it's 1:05 on Saturday. Now, I want to have another look at this situation here now. Now, put it this way: last night, Friday night, today's Saturday. What about the 15th of January 22? Now, last night, I did busking actually in Courtenay Place in Wellington. If you know Courtenay Place, one of the main downtown streets, very popular one, got bars there and that, and very popular for the young people and that. So why I do busking is that I'm actually fundraising for work in Africa. People think I'm homeless and that, but it's not. They say, oh, have you got a blanket and so on, but it might be a help with a blanket to keep the cold out sometimes, but I don't think I'd have a blanket because give the impression that you sleep out. But I'm staying in a boarding house just close by, so I come down busking. So they get to know me, so the girls love me down there. They say, oh, we love you, Colin. Sometimes they call out from the cars going past, Colin, Colin, and so on. So anyway, last night I did saying happy birthday for this friend of hers, and maybe because of this mix-up of ages with this bloody Virginia, and she's of course the one that's charged Prince Andrew with this underage thing. First time I was struck an underage situation. It's always a so-called rape thing, and not as I say, not what do you call it again now? Not underage thing. First time. It still seems strange to me. I haven't got an answer yet as to why she took so long. Some years before she prosecuted this cunt, Prince Andrew. But anyway, last night I happened to mention asking what her age was. Well, she's only 4 bloody teen, and so today is during the night, so it's probably the Saturday she turned 15. But I wouldn't have known that she was 4 bloody teen before, a couple of months bloody ago. So if I asked her for a date, and say by chance she accepted it, and she was flatting or something, and I could just fuck her, not thinking she's only about 4 bloody teen. I mean, fuck me dead. I mean, 4 bloody teen. So I'd have said, by the way, how old are you? And she said, oh, 4 bloody teen. And I thought, fuck me dead. Oh, I thought you're 16 or something. It's all sort of all the same, these dolls in the street. They all kind of look beautiful and that. And so maybe that was happened with Prince Andrew, is that he didn't know how old she was. And so anyway, he's got his lawyers, but they've stripped him of something. I think even the royal family have stripped him of something. I've forgotten what it was. It came on the news, I think, it's in the paper, I think, too. But anyway, I want to have a look at this age thing. So anyway, yeah, she's only 4 bloody teen, this one. So now we're having a look now at Prince Andrew. So he's got, womanhood manipulate the dumbness of men. Men pass the laws in their favour to get their vote. They think, oh, if they swoon all around them. But they don't understand, as I've mentioned before, that to you, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but The only way, as I say, in particular, underlining that word particular in heavy black print, 6 times, say, and each letter of particular to be put in big letters, P-A-R. How do you spell particular? P-A, particular. So anyway, each letter in heavy black print, each individual letter, and underlined about six times in heavy black print. The only time in particular that a woman will respect a man is when he knocks her back on sex matters. The politicians don't understand that. They just think, oh, they'll call around women and get their vote, and then women who just take advantage of them, spin a web around them and prophesy who smoked thee and such like. So then they exploit them with money is often the case. So I've made the suggestion that in this particular case, with Andrew and this bloody Virginia, that it could be probably a money matter is usually quite a common thing. So we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but maybe there's been several phone calls going on between Virginia and Andrew behind the scenes that you don't hear about. And so she wants to say, perhaps as I suggested in my last video, that she wants to say buy an apartment for, say, $1 million smackers for this apartment, say, as an example, quite likely sort of thing what they do. And so she thought that he's got money being a prince and know that he can go to her mother, the Queen. So there's probably been arguments on the phone and it's dragged on and so he's been negotiating, but she's given up the ghost and has threatened him enough times for the money, and she's not getting the money, so she goes in boots and all, head him up for it's wonder she didn't head him up for this rape bloody thing. But for some reason she hit him up for underage sex, and I suppose she might have thought that was better or something, but I don't know. But anyway, that's what she did. And so she didn't get the money, you see. So that's a very impossibility. Otherwise, why has she done this? I mean, she hasn't done this for any reason other than herself. It's an ego situation. I mean, otherwise, why did she wait all these years and then suddenly pop this up to the public? One at a time did she do? Did she come bloody plain? So anyway, at the present time, but he can still get out of this. At the present time, even the royal family, I think, have stripped Andrew of something. I've forgotten what it was. You can find out yourself what they've stripped him of. And so what could happen is that Prince Andrew could have a word with his mother, the Queen, of course, and Mum, I want to have a word with you. So he says to Mum, Mum, Virginia and myself have been talking on the phone a lot, and she's wanting 1 million smackers for an apartment. Now, I haven't been giving you the money, and she said, well, we'll go to your mother. And so I didn't know, you see, that she was 4 bloody 10. I thought she was bloody 6 bloody 10. No, I bloody knew that she was 4 bloody 10. I mean, fuck me dead. I mean, didn't know that. And so now she's hit me up, and she wants money for an apartment. So she said, well, go to your mother, the Queen. So I wasn't going to come to you because I didn't want you to know what's going on. I didn't want to worry you. And so what am I going to do? That's the problem. She wants 1 million smackers for her apartment. And so if the Queen knew that Andrew had been threatened this way, then she'll probably, and especially when Andrew says, look, I didn't even bloody know that she was 4 bloody 10, you see, and so she could quite likely have sympathy for her son now and say to him, now look, who's the bloody name of bloody game? The bloody Virginia. What's she done a bloody going now? She's threatened she wants a bloody apartment, you see, for $1 million. And we've been negotiating, but suddenly she's popped this up on me, and I don't know what to do. And why didn't you come to me before this, son? I didn't want you to know what actually happened. I thought we might be able to negotiate something, but, I haven't got the money, and so I don't know what I'm going to do. I thought I'd come to you and sort this problem out. I mean, basically, I didn't know how old she was. I thought she was. So they all look the same, these dolls. They look beautiful and that. And I know I bloody idea that she was underage, you see. Didn't bloody occur to me. I just thought that, she's just a nice doll. And I'll probably, if you asked me how old she was, I might have said, bloody six, bloody teen or something. So what shall I do, Mum, about this? I mean, I'm fucked if I know what to do. And Mother Queen says, look, what's this a bloody game now? What's this a bloody game now? Tell me a bloody game. So he explains the bloody game that she wants this apartment, say, for $1 million, and she's been threatened. She thought I'd have the money being a prince, but of course I haven't got the money. It's because I'm a prince. So basically, if somehow she could get the money, then you could drop the charge on the basis of the fact that I didn't know that she was that young. And once she gets the money, then she'll drop the charge. Say, he didn't realise that, so I'm dropping the charge. Then once she drops the charge, well, then it'll all collapse, the whole thing. And so the Queen says, look, I'll sort this one out for you, son. Look, what's her phone number? Has she got a phone number? Yeah, look, I'll take care of it. I'll see that she gets the money. I will help you. I'll pay for her apartment. Now, what's her phone number? Well, yeah, I can give you a phone number, Mum, but make sure you don't give her assholes, because if you give her assholes, she might get her back up. Don't worry, son. I won't give her assholes. I'll be nice to her. Just give me a phone number, and we'll find out in the US what times of to call her US time. And so she makes arrangements. She gets her phone number, Majesty, and so they phone over time in the US, which is suitable time to phone in relation to UK time. I think she's in the US, this Virginia. So anyway, the Queen phones and it's nice to her. Virginia, it's Her Majesty here, Queen of England, phoning from Buckingham Palace. I understand, Virginia, that you need 1 million smackers to buy an apartment. I can supply that for you. I can online that money to your bank account. It's yours free, on the condition that you drop the charge for my son, because he didn't know that you're underage, you see, and you could drop it on that basis. So if I give you the money online into your account from my bank, and I could get a loan if necessary. It depends on how much money like the Queen's got assets, I think. I think she's got millions in assets, but I don't know if she's got much in the way of $1 million in cash in the bank. But so the Queen could get a loan of $1 million and use her assets easy. And being the Queen of England, she shouldn't have any trouble getting a loan from her bank. So anyway, so she agrees with. So she says to Virginia, once I'll online the money to you, you get the money in the bank, then we can negotiate and see if you'll drop the charge, because poor cunt. See, my son's up bloody set to bugger me. I mean, see, I'm up bloody set too. You see, I've had Prince Philip die on me like this, and it's up bloody setting for me, and so all this is further upsetting, and I'm most glad to help you buy your apartment. I'll just bank it in, I'll online it straight into your bank account. So will you then, if I do this, Virginia, will you see, because he didn't know, poor cunt, you see, he didn't know, he's just a poor cunt, like, And the other guy, he sees all these lovely dolls and he hears the call. You see, men hear the call and he obeyed the call. He just heard the call and he obeyed the call, you see, and but he didn't know how young you were, you see, and so would you bloody agree then that if you get this million, that you'll drop the charge on the basis that the poor cunt, he didn't realise that I was only 4 bloody teen, you see. So if you could do that, then I'll definitely online the means so you can buy your apartment. And so how do you feel about that, Virginia? And then seeing that it's all on the money, say quite likely, and she'll say, "Oh, thank you, Your Majesty. Yes, I'll do that. If you get the million smackers into my account, I will definitely put you right on this." And because obviously she will, because if she gets the money, well, all she has to do then is to drop the charge. See, they take advantage of men in relation to the law, and the men pass the laws in their favour because they think that they'll get their vote. See, it's all a voting situation. They do things to get their vote. Vote for me, vote for me. See, they can't leave a stone unturned when it comes to voting. And so they play in the hands of womanhood to get their vote. But they fail to understand when they knock them back. As I've pointed out in my videos, the more you knock a woman back on sex matters, the more they come to you. But dumb men, they don't understand. Of course, it's not really being dumb there because you kind of, it's something that you don't kind of realise, and how they tick. You sort of got to learn how they tick. I mentioned in my last video just yesterday about Ron, a friend of mine. He was a master with a woman, and he told me how to do it. You've got to do the opposite of what you think's the natural thing to do. Sometimes it can work. Like I had a woman come to see me, and in the evenings, they said they never come to see you in the evenings. Oh shit, no, they're too smart for that. But this woman came in the evenings, and I was hoping that I'd be in the nude when she come. And contrary to what Ron was teaching me, and so I just had a shower, and she actually came at that time. So I hid myself a bit at the door. She came in and she walked into the lounge, and then a bit later I just walked into the lounge stark naked and just come out of the shower. And then after a bit I thought, I'd better get clothes on. So I got clothes on, then we were talking, and then I said, "Oh, would you give me a massage?" "Yeah, that's fine." So I stripped off a bloody again, and then she gave me a massage, but she missed my weapon and testes. So I said, "Oh, you missed in here or something," and so she started in there, and then after a bit she said, "Would you like me to keep on going?" So of course I said, "Yeah," and then shortly after that I got fucking her on the floor. I should have put her, the carpet, but I should have put her on the bed, actually, more better. So I got fucking her, but the trouble was she wrapped her legs around my back and restricted me going up and down. But I should have actually got her number and followed through on that one, but I didn't. So later on she went, and so I told Ron about this, and Ron couldn't believe it because it was the exact opposite really of what you should normally do. You don't go naked with them first, generally speaking. One time I had a threesome. A couple came for a threesome, so I just stripped naked. And then, that was okay then because they'd come for a threesome. In fact, they were very happy about that, so we got into a threesome. So that's okay if they come for a threesome or foursome and that. But anyway, so how did I get onto that? Oh, yeah, that's right. So Ron, you normally got to do the opposite. You got to knock them back. But it's very difficult for men to understand that. See, I was struggling with Ron when he was saying how you got to do the opposite. And I was struggling for years trying to sort this one out. And but that's the idea, is you knock them back and that's when they come to you. So anyway, so that's what the politicians should do and change their voting, change their laws, and you'll probably find the women will vote for them better if they knock them back. So anyway, so what's the time now? It's getting on. Keep an eye on this time. So so we do hope then that that this works out for Andrew. You see, it's always a woman complaining about sex all the time, about a man. You see, you could get in New Zealand, you could get every office in New Zealand where there's men and women working, every solitary office, you could get women feeling men up, fucking them on the floor and everything, all the works, feeling, jerking, kissing, even everything, the works to all the men in every office in New Zealand. And you might not get one solitary complaint from a male. But in contrast, a man could just do that in just one solitary, just the opposite, in just one solitary office. He could start feeling a woman up or something, and he could get up on that a bloody loan. So one office, a woman complained. Second, a whole of New Zealand, and not one man complained. There's something wrong. They seem to use sex to get even with man for his physical strength and that, as I've sort of covered this sort of thing on my other videos, actually. But I sort of need to touch on it a bloody again here because of the St Andrew thing, because you got to change the laws against the twisted molecules. That's the thing. But you see, it's really men, like women. You see, women are like kittens. Like, supposing, for example, in the House of Representatives, they were sitting, and for some reason they don't know how it got in there, but a kitten got, say, in the chamber. Now, the sort of thing they might do is strike the kitten and give her some milk or something and something to eat, and then find the mother. But what I want to say about that kitten is, what can that kitten do about Parliament, about changing laws or anything? That kitten, got in the House of Representatives, can't do a thing. And in fact, womanhood can't do any more than what that kitten did. They're just kittens. They're just kittens. But what happens is that men do the laws in their favour. They come crying and they know how to manipulate men. They know men are dumb, and they twist them and spin a web around them and that. And men are so dumb they can't see. Well, as I've said before about womanhood, I can imagine womanhood saying, "Oh, men, they're so dumb. They don't know what's going on, and dumb they are. Men are." But see, it's always on sex all the time. As I've said to you before, there's the sex imprisonment is in New Zealand for sex matters has surpassed that of manslaughter, arson, forgery, huge catastrophes that man has done, or like this massive oil spill around the United States, and for miles this big oil spill thing, and it was a few years ago actually. It's spilled for miles and miles, some of this massive oil strike, and millions of fish, I think, died or something terrible. And something I was going to say about that. Or was it that? Something I was going to say about that actually. Oh yeah. What do they get for that? Well, the company sometimes just pays and all that sort of thing. And and so, but as I said, it wasn't a sex-related issue. So, like as I gave an example just recently of of a man. He killed a girl, a 5-year-old girl, with his car on a footpath, just right in front of her mother. And now this is a standard thing, you see. This, what he got, was just a general thing in relation to sex. But if he had to kill that girl on a sex issue, then he'd never come out for years, and never come out because he's a danger to community. What about being a danger to community with his car? See, we all must take responsibility for our own actions. See, the driver cannot say, "Oh, I was drunk, Your Honour." Your Honour could lean over to him and look out over and out of him of his horn-rimmed glasses, and say to the man, say it was myself, say, "Mr. Martin, you were not drunk before you were drunk, Mr. Martin. You had to get drunk. Nobody got you drunk. You didn't care, Mr. Martin, about this drinking and driving. If you had have cared, you would have thought about things like leaving your keys with security, your car keys, and saying, don't give the car keys back to me until I'm sober enough to drive. And even phone the police and ask them, please, could you come and give me a breath test? I want to know, sure. You'd think of those things, Mr. Martin. But because that you didn't, you just didn't care, you drove and you killed this 5-year-old girl. Now, you didn't take responsibility for your own actions, Mr. Martin. You see, so you can't say, oh, I was drunk, Your Honour. See, Your Honour could say, as I say, she could say to him, look, you were not drunk before you were drunk, Mr. Martin. You had to get drunk. Nobody forced liquor down your throat, Mr. Martin. We all must take responsibility for our own actions, Mr. Martin. Me as a judge on the bench, Mr. Martin, I can't come to work drunk. I'd be a disgrace to myself and to the work I'm doing. And I could be fired or laid low for some time, for 6 months or a year or something like that. I must take responsibility for my own actions like everybody else do, Mr. Martin. And so there's no excuse, you see, for him to kill this 5-year-old. But what did he get for it? 20 hours community service, which is what you'd get for running up escalators coming down, and only 1 year free from that his car license taken from him. Only 1 year. So a year later, he's back again to kill another 5-year-old. Not a problem. Wasn't sex related. And the other one was, I did have to pay $30,000, but that's nothing because he's still going to get 3 meals a day and extras he might like. It's the same. He's still he can get around and somebody else can drive him around. I mean, he can do some walking, get some exercise, or get the bus. So he doesn't have to worry about losing his license. That's nothing. And he probably just pay it back, I suppose, unless he's got the money in the bank. But take this poor cunt that's got 7 years in prison for kissing a few girls, a few women in Cuba Mall. So he gave him 7 years imprisonment. And yet this cunt, he didn't get any imprisonment at all. See, this is a general thing. See, as I've told you, that sex matters have surpassed that of manslaughter, arson, and forgery, and a few other things, probably even sometimes murder. The longest serving prisoner in New Zealand jails was there for about 52 years. The only reason they let him out because he needed hospital treatment, so he went to hospital. Now, they wouldn't let him out because I was a danger to community. Well, what about this cunt went killing this girl? Don't you think he's a danger to give his license back to him? Why not say to him, well, you're a danger to community? Surely taking a life is altogether different than filling up a few women or even a few children. Which would the mother rather have, a 5-year-old killed or a 5-year-old felt up by a guy, no harm come to her? Well, she's in her right mind. She'd choose to feel up, surely. Surely there's no comparison between the two. So anyway, so men have to wake up here. So anyway, my time's getting on here. It's about 30 minutes, so I'll have to close shortly. So this is what I want to see now. We'll follow this case. Apparently it's not over yet, this Prince Andrew, and so we do hope that, well, of course, Her Majesty, she's lost Prince Philip lately, and she doesn't need any of this, actually. But if Prince Andrew could see her mother and explain, all he has to do is say to his mother, "Look, fuck me dead, Mum. I didn't know her. She was underage. Sure, I fucked her, but I know she consented. But why didn't she tell me then? She was only 4 bloody teen. I mean, I didn't know that." And then she'd tell her mother, the Queen, about how she's holding him to ransom, say over 1 million smackers she wants for her apartment, say. Other bloody wise, what else is she doing? Another thing that occurred to me, it might have been guilt. She might have been feeling guilty over the years, and the guilt has increased over the years of her doing this without letting him know, or doing it anyway. She felt that she's underage because she was joining in too, no doubt, because she didn't hit him up for the so-called rape thing at the time. And so, where are we? So, so where are we? So, so she, so she must, so it might have been guilt on her part. So she brought him up as a cover for her guilt, or something like that, some psychology problem that she's having. Because other bloody wise, why has she done this? Years later, she suddenly popped this up on this poor cunt, and unless he did something nasty to her, or he was nasty to her on the phone, maybe about it. "Look, fuck me, I haven't got the bloody money for you. Go to your mother." "I can't go to Mum." "Well, fuck off then." She hangs up on him, and then he stomps and heads him up for this under sex thing. And so that's what it could be. It's something like that, because she's not going to do that unless it's for her own ego. Besides, there's something in the paper that she's involved with sex matters, not a prostitute as such. I have to have another look in the paper, or you could have a look too. But she's sort of involved with other women, like not in a lesbian affair. I think it's just she's sort of working with other women, or something like that. She's something in the sex industry somehow, but you could check that one out yourself. So anyway, my time's up now. It's 30, or I must go. I think it's 30. Oh, I must go. My time's up, I think. Hang on. I'll find it. 33 minutes. I just got a little bit of problem with one eye here. It's not so bad. It's not 38, it's 33. That's I got a little bit more time here. So it's a matter now then of waiting for C, but see, we don't know. You see, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know these arguments. Just like people might not know if the Queen said to Virginia on the phone, "Look, I'll pay the money, I'll do it all for you," and she did this, then all the public would know was that, she dropped the charge. Suddenly she dropped the charge. And the reason why is because he didn't know that she was underage, so that they wouldn't know about the phone calls with the Queen. With the same at the moment, she probably has been phone calls between her and Andrew. We don't know about that, quite likely, because she'd probably warned him. He must have done something to her. You see, the only thing I can think of is that she's holding him to ransom about something, or she's a cover for her guilt. It could be something else, but there's something for her own ego sort of thing. It can't be anything else. So anyway, we'll have to see what's going to happen. But I know how to solve these problems. But I haven't got time to go back on it. What do we know? Oh, here it says here it's 35. So I haven't got really time here. Well, we can. I could just give this example again for New Zealand. How I've said it before a number of times in my videos, how New Zealand should have been bombed in the Second World War because the Japanese were going to start bombing New Zealand. And they started around New Zealand. They did bomb, but not one bomb dropped on New Zealand. They had 4 aircraft carriers out there, the Japanese. But what happened is that the Christians took the old town hall in Wellington, still up. They're working on it at the moment. They've been on it for ages. I think they're not only strengthening it, but I think they're renovating it, or making it new as they go along. Instead of putting it down and building another building or whatever, they're sort of renovating or something. So anyway, they took the old town hall and they prayed that the Japanese wouldn't come to New Zealand. And I believe it was a united effort too by New Zealand, probably. It must have been. To get a big thing like that would have to be something big. I doubt if, from my observation of these things, I doubt if just the town hall in Wellington would be enough. It might protect Wellington, but that's about all. But if it was a New Zealand-wide effort, then a divine intervention came in and saved New Zealand. But that's just an example. The other example, I've got no time now. It's 36 minutes. So I know the answer to the New Zealand's problems, or New Zealand and the world's problems to stadiums, and so of course if they took it for just one person, they need to take it over the whole. But it's quite a problem. Like, we must not get bombed out. I could just mention to you again, perhaps, about Praying Hyde. He was a missionary to India, and he got a telegram on board to say, "Are you filled with the Spirit?" And I believe his first reaction was one of anger. Who do you think? He screwed the telegram up. Who do you think, oh man, go to India without being filled with the Spirit? But maybe he got thinking about it, and he became a great Praying Hyde. But he went to the doctor once, and the doctor couldn't find his heart. And finally he found his heart. It had gone from its left side to a strange place on its right side. And the doctor told Praying Hyde it's going to take months of rest to bring it anywhere near right. So he got bombed out, and he got taken all into himself. The answer is to give it to the Holy Spirit, give it to God, and then just walk away and say, it's in your hands, don't worry about it, and just thank him for what he's going to do and live in a state of expectation. Well, let's just make it briefly. My time's up, 38 minutes, so I can't go into over 40 minutes, otherwise my friend can't find it. So I'll sign off for now then, and we'll just see what happens then with this bloody Virginia, and but it doesn't register too much hope. In fact, they've already stripped him of something. The royal family, they've already taken. They do it for sex, you see, but other things like drinking and driving or texting, that they probably wouldn't have done anything about it. Not a problem. But he's more in danger than killing people, and himself was drinking and driving and texting while you're driving. But of course, that's not a problem. It's sex is the thing. Sex. That's the thing. Well, anyway, I must close, so I'll close this. Colin then signing off for now. So bye for now. Colin signing off.